Welcome back to the pile. Hope you enjoyed your stay in the end phase, as today we're going to be discussing the new Nibiru Dimension Shifter and Dark Ruler No More. When these cards first dropped, YouTubers took to the internet and went crazy over the power and potential these new three cards offered. DZ, for example, described them as the most powerful hand traps ever released. Yeah, wait till he reads Maxi. Shh. Don't tell him. Man, he's gonna go wild when he has a read of that one. Simo said that they would be changing the game forever. Arceon here made an intelligent commentary on Simo's hands.
What's going on, guys? It's Simo. So today I'm bringing to you a card discussion on Nibiru, the Primal Being. And oh my god, is this card ridiculous. When I first read this card, I was in awe.
And over the course of this weekend, while streaming on Twitch, by the way, you should watch me every night, I have been testing and playing a bunch of these cards and seeing just how they've been impacting the meta. And so this video, I'll be going over how I feel about them. It was at the World Championship 2019 this year, of which, by the way, I wasn't invited for. I didn't attend. Now, these hand traps, I keep calling them hand traps. They're not really one of them is a freaking spell. I get it. I know. You can discard, negate, and during main phase 1, it's basically a hand trap. What were we even talking about? What was I saying? Oh, right, that's, yeah. The death of people around social media, when these cards first got revealed, went ballistic and essentially declared that any deck that performs some kind of a combo past 5 summons is now completely dead, because you're either going to have your whole board tributed or everything negated, and you're not going to be able to respond. Okay, video over. I guess we should all just head on over to YGOcity.com and purchase an Altergeist or Sky Striker deck, right? And we will democratically elect DZ as head of council for the Altergeist Control Parliament. Okay, not quite. Let's take a look at each of these cards individually and see their pros and cons and what matchups they will be good in. And by the way, if you do want to give up on combo and play Altergeist and Sky Striker for the rest of your life, head on over to YGOcity.com and use the promo code FARFA10. Did I just say 10? Yes, 10. You can use the promo code FARFA10 for 10% off all of your orders at YGOcity.com for the next couple of weeks. So get on over there quick and hurry up and make sure you support me. Comment, like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch and Twitter, join the Discord community at discord.gg/Farfa. And now let's discuss Nibiru. So basically, in the early 90s, this lady, Nancy Leader, believed that she could speak with and contact extraterrestrial persons from the Zeta Reticuli star system, and she was able to predict that Planet X, a large celestial object, would be crashing into the world and destroying Earth in a global cataclysm in May 2003, around the time Yu-Gi-Oh! Was going to be released. Coincidence? I don't think so. You know, I love that she said Nibiru was coming in May 2003, and then the date was later postponed. It's kind of like that time when I said that Needle Fiber was going to come to the TCG, and then I postponed the date. It's going to happen. It's soon. Soon. Smiley face. Nibiru is a level 11 monster with 3000 attack and only 600 defense during the main phase if your opponent normal or special summoned 5 or more monsters this turn. Quick effect, you contribute as many face-up monsters on the field as possible, and if you do special summon this card from your hand, and then your opponent gets a token, Rock Light level 11, with attack and defense to your opponent's field. The attack and defense become the combined total of the original attack and defense of those tributed monsters. Okay, big think. This is a lot to process, I understand. Reading, of course, as you all are aware, is not the average Yu-Gi-Oh! Player's forte, per se. So this card becomes live, quote-unquote, after 5 or more summons have been conducted, including the normal summon. And then you're able to just drop Rock Boy onto the field and wipe everything away like a sphere mode. Now, 2 things to consider in terms of its weaknesses here. It is not a cost, and it is during the main phase only, so you cannot let them do it on declaration of attack. One other thing that came up when playing this card is that you cannot summon this under Winda. Because technically, as the conjunctive ruling here says, special summon this card from your hand, then special summon. So because this guy is technically 2 special summons, Winda is going to completely negate the ability for Nibiru to smack down onto the field. Well, I guess that's basically all the only weaknesses of this card. The advantage of this Nibiru is that it doesn't trigger on the 5th summon. You are able to hold this card, wait until they've essentially finished comboing off, They might go to the battle phase to attempt to kill you, and then before entering the battle phase, you simply say, "Heh, wait a darn second there, partner," and then drop it like it's hot. Now, you might be wondering, what does his defense turn into if he tributes a Link monster? Well, as we're all aware, for example, if we tribute Dingirsu and a Boral Sword, Dingirsu I think has 21 defense, and Boral Sword, being a Link monster, only has 4 defense. That's a joke. Link rating isn't defense. There's probably someone out there who thinks that's how it works. Someone at a locals is probably Book of Mooning Boral Swords right now as we speak. So you essentially give them a giant token. Like, these tokens after a full combo board are gonna be like tens of thousands of like attack points, right? A small price to pay for salvation. And then you summon this guy to your side of the field and attack. So this card is very good versus something like Salomon Great, versus Orcust, versus Guard Dragons, and pretty much literally any deck in the game that summons 5 times. After testing this versus various decks, I can honestly say that this card is 100% a plausible staple card in your side deck. You could even potentially main deck this depending on how the format develops and whether or not people are scared enough to build their decks around this and play combo decks or not play combo decks. Out of all the promos and the hand traps that we have had revealed to us, I think that Nibiru probably is the best one out of all of them. They all have their benefits and downsides and positives in different shapes and forms, but I guess I would just say, starting with the best one, I do think that Nibiru is pretty damn good. The next card, Dark Ruler No More, basically works very similarly to Nibiru in that it functions as a way to combat your opponent's combo deck. Except this one, I suppose, is a little bit easier to use. With Nibiru, you can sometimes just hold it, or maybe you want to use it mid-combo to really disrupt something before they can have a negate on board. With Dark Ruler No More, it's very simply kind of a Cold Wave Spell Speed 4. Actually, Farfa, spell speed 4 isn't a correct term. I'm sorry. It can't be responded to. Normal spell card, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. Also, for the rest of this turn, your opponent takes no damage. Neither player can activate monster effects in response to this card's activation. That is the most penultimate and important card text of Dark Ruler No More. Neither player cannot respond with monster effects. So you know that big stupid dumb board that Guard Dragons put up with like 38 and Boral Savage and Heretic Seal and Colossus and Dawn Dragster and freaking President Obama or something? The whole shebang is out there on the field laid down ready to stop you from being able to function. Well, you can immediately turn all of that off as they cannot respond with monster effects. I believe I had a game where I simply activated this card and just straight up won the duel. Weird. And yeah, this card versus those decks like that are extremely, extremely potent and insane. One other thing to note as well is that it doesn't just stop those monsters from being able to negate your cards, it negates continuous effects as well. So Thunder Dragon Colossus doesn't activate to stop you from, searching. That too will be negated under Dark Ruler No More. This card I think is just as good as Nibiru, but I would think that Nibiru is a little bit better because of the disadvantage that this card has in that it can be negated by spell and trap cards, not monster effects. You will be seeing Pendulum decks ending with their full crazy combo board with Vortex and Seal and Dragster with a Divine Strike set. The Divine Strike is the important card that's going to be held in order to stop Dark Ruler. So you're going to have to stop Pendulum, not just with Nibiru potentially being negated by Jackal, you're going to have some kind of removal for the Divine Strike so that Dark Ruler No More will be able to push through. But that's specifically about Pendulum deck. Not every deck is going to be able to play a spell and trap defensive card to stop their monster field from being negated. Most importantly, Guard Dragon. Guard Dragons, I feel, will be able to adapt using Orcust cards. Do the full Guard Dragon combo, bada bing, bada boom, as usual. And then link into a Nightmare Phoenix and go into Mermaid and then do Orcust things. But wait, there's more. Just when you think the deck couldn't get any sillier. Orcust Crescendo is going to be able to stop this card. And this is why I think this card isn't as good as Nibiru. Because Nibiru is able to be used on your opponent's turn and realistically only dies to monster negates. And not a lot of decks can put a monster negate on the board turn 1 before 5 summons. That's the important thing. You have to try and do this before 5 summons. Finally, we have Macrocosmos on legs. Dimension Shifter, 12, level 6, Spellcaster Dark, 22 defense. If you have no cards in your graveyard, that's probably the most important activation requirement here, is that you can't just drop it mid-game. Realistically, if you want to play this card, you're going to have to, play it turn 1. That is immediately the first disadvantage that popped up into my mind, was that you need to have no cards in your graveyard. Literally a turn 1 card only. You can send this from your hand to the grave, and until the end of the next turn, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Your opponent goes into Guard Dragon, plays Macrocosmos. Pendulum decks putting their monsters back into the extra to be able to special summon them back again, Macrocosmos. Some dumb idiot playing Burning Abyss in 2019, not me, not me. Macrocosmos. And the billion other decks in the game that just straight up lose to not being able to trigger their graveyard. If there's going to be a bunch of cards that absolutely need the graveyard, like Orcust, this thing is ridiculous. If the format is going to be primarily Sky Striker, yes, they do suffer, but they can just kind of set a bunch of spell cards and pass. It's not going to be as strong. So this guy is amazing when it's amazing, but a little bit underwhelming if the deck it's used against doesn't really lose to being banished, right? Like, obviously, we're not signing this for Metaphys, I guess. So, in conclusion, everyone, is Combo dead? Is this the dawn of a new era for Yu-Gi-Oh? Are we now alte Geistspielers? Well, I'm gonna say no. I think Combo is well and alive, just like any other thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! And in an exciting time like this, when the format gets shaken up by brand new introductions to the game, people will adapt. People will build their decks differently. People are going to play cards that they wouldn't originally, like Orcust and Guard Dragons. People will put up a monster negate before Nibiru reaches 5 summons. It's hard to say just how it will pan out right now. We'll have to wait and see over the course of the next YCSs. But I think Combo is far from dead. There are way too many insane, crazy combos and powerful negate decks in the game for them to simply just keel over to a pebble. As scary as Rock Boy is, negating a monster effect is, that's not a lot to ask for. If you look hard for some tech cards around there, you will find ways to play around these. And just as a final comment, this is perhaps the greatest tin ever. It is almost more viable to purchase product than to buy singles. That is an unbelievable step forward by Konami. We can actually buy a tin and not go minus. I'm really happy that these promos are in the tin, and it'll be a great time for pack opening channels. Thank you everyone for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, join my Discord, watch my Twitch. And until next time, adios.
Oh, I thought and from events and years, how it went down. I did nothing wrong and I did nothing wrong whatsoever. I got banned. I didn't even know I got banned.